To reference the universe creation analogy one last time, Noct is the spark that created the Big Bang, Ferucht is the creation of stars, and Shinonuma is the formation of planets. What is Riese then? Riese is the origins of life itself. Sounds a bit dramatic, really, but Riese was a map so strong in quality, it solidified the budding zombies community into a tight-knit, dedicated people, giving them the tools to theorize, to optimize strategies, and to form close bonds with each other, just as the universe gave life the tools to grow and evolve as it awaited the next great adventure.
Return Through Aether is an audio presentation of RadZakpak's nostalgic 10-year anniversary tour of the Call of Duty Zombies Aether maps, voiced by Naberzunter for the Call of Duty Zombies forums. Join us at the original Zombies community, callofdutyzombies.com.
Coming back to Riese after so many years of playing it over and over, I was not expecting to have that much fun. Turns out, this map is so renowned for some very good reasons. When I first started up the map, I was immediately inclined to look up. Previous maps started you out in a building, cramped and trying to keep the undead from entering. In Riese, however, you feel so small and vulnerable out in the open within this expansive facility. Something Jason Blundell mentioned when talking about Origins was how he really loved the sense of scale you get when seeing the giant robots from that map, and I think the same idea was applied here by Blundell and the rest of the map designers at that time. It's a truly unique experience from the rest of the maps in the lineup for this reason, and for many more. To add to Riese's innovations, there's a real sense that you have an objective within this map, as you are tantalized with the image of some machine in the spawn room that you do not have access to. Curious, you are forced to find the power and discover teleporters. As you look on the crazy technology and scientific data scattered around the facility, you get this sense of dread as you realize how close the Germans must have been to winning the war here. And yet something has desolated this place, and you are all that's left to fight it using the tools left behind for you. After successfully linking the teleporters, you gain access to the Pack-a-Punch. This very addition to the game is more innovation than perks, traps, or teleporters, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. The Pack-a-Punch allowed the average player to achieve higher rounds. We take it for granted now, but for the casual player, the extent of late-game zombies was to get a good machine gun, maybe the ray gun, and some perks, and just keep fighting back until you ran out of ammo because your guns weren't good enough. Sure, advanced players had high round strategies, but nothing truly accessible for the casual. Enter the ability to upgrade your weapons, and you have effectively extended the game's longevity, and it feels damn good as a casual to now have what is, in essence, a super weapon to keep you alive longer, especially because you earned it rather than getting lucky with the box. It also started a trend of inflating the amount of rounds you can reasonably get to in a game. That continues to this day. Secondly, the Pack-a-Punch extended replayability. This single edition effectively doubled the amount of weapons the player can use throughout their games of Riese. As soon as you upgrade one weapon, you immediately have this urge to test it out, and then try to upgrade another to find out what it can do and what it's called. I even felt this, and started grabbing not-so-good guns just to upgrade and get a feel after all these years away. I get the sense playing Riese that this was Treyarch's attempt at a Hail Mary to keep the mode going into their next game and hold the community's attention, and to do that, they had to push many boundaries. To quote Jason Blundell, "That's where we introduced a thing called Pack-a-Punch, which is the way to upgrade your guns. At the time, people were shouting heresy at me, the idea of upgrading, then the teleporter. I was just crapping myself because my thought was, I better not destroy this thing that people are really enjoying. It worked out well in the end." I also cannot neglect to talk about the story, because things really start to shape up here. Hidden radios giving backstory on this mysterious Group 935, ciphers with hints at something larger, and the technology present here paint a story after some exploring and digging through the map. This intrigue created a whole subculture within the community, focused on the storyline behind this mode, and some may even argue it has overtaken discussions about gameplay online. I owe so much of my knowledge on World War II history and my passion for storytelling to this mode, and Riese for its contributions. Getting back to the game, I ended up upgrading some guns and doing the flytrap Easter egg. It really is so insignificant to do now, and I only did it within a minute, but I can just imagine the rush of finding this thing for the first time. I then took to the catwalk, a classic strategy. Unfortunately, camping the catwalk does not work so well in solo, so I nearly died several times reloading. I took the dive and tried out some training. What struck me about training on Riese was the absolute rush that I have not felt in zombies in a long time. I think out of all maps, Riese has the most perfectly balanced training areas. They aren't too wide and easy like Shi no Numa, or insanely tight like Verrückt. They are just challenging enough to keep you on your toes, but surviving nonetheless. I tried it under the catwalk, by the power, in spawn, and in my favorite area, the Thompson room. Every moment is fun, plain and simple. As rounds progress, I began to encounter plentiful Hellhounds in the middle of rounds, a feature we didn't really see again until the Giant. At first, I was annoyed because Hellhounds can actually mess you up in this game. However, I adjusted my strategy to cope, getting the ray gun to make short work of them and switching to my points gun for zombies. I also realized that they serve a purpose in nerfing the effectiveness of the newly added monkey bombs, since they don't follow them, making it so you can't rely on the monkeys to save your skin in every situation. I continued having a blast for quite a while, activating the marvelous Beauty of Annihilation along the way. Here is one of the most Riese clips ever, by the way. There's so much more that can be said about Riese and the great time I had playing it again, but I best cut this short. I ended up dying on round 31 after shooting a horde with my ray gun, leaving behind crawlers and an insta-kill power-up. Foolishly, I ran right for that shiny insta-kill and got swiped by crawlers, a newly spawned walker, and a hellhound.
Bring it on, freak bags!